Yo! What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Coffee with Brodes. How are you today on this Thursday afternoon? What's happening? What's up, everyone? I hope you're enjoying your cup of coffee. Let's take our first sips together as we always do. Mm-mm-mm. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers to a Phillies win in extra innings where guys actually stepped up. It's amazing. It really is. It's amazing to think about. What's up, everyone who's in the chat? Mikey, Savion, Philly for Life, Arm Zebra, Joseph, the sports guy. How are you today? Eflin today. Eflin today. Eflin this afternoon. Now, as you can see, we do have a new sponsor here on Coffee with Brodes, DealDash. You need to utilize DealDash. I'm telling you that right now, okay? Look, I have seen a car sold for $900 on DealDash, a TV for $2. It's a no-brainer. Plus, you can use the promo code COFFEE for all these great promotions as well. You have to check out DealDash. You should see me every day. I'm sitting there. You want to go on TikTok? No. You don't go to TikTok. You go to DealDash and you start scrolling through and you realize you've been on there for an hour just looking at all the phenomenal offers that are available. So check it on out, DealDash.com. And there's also an app as well. So I'm telling you, it's legit. It's unbelievable. I'm nonstop sucked in. It's awesome. You can use promo code COFFEE. So check it on out. Check it on out. There's so many different things to bet on, James. You can cruise through and whatever. I mean, the possibilities are endless. That's for damn sure. So, yeah, all right, let's kick things off here and let's talk about some Phils last night. How about that? Phillies, man, 17. Hey, Brodes, I completely agree with you on the Turner strikeout. I think the box for the strike zone wasn't set. Yeah, it was weird. Last night it was weird. The pitch was inside, and I think we understand that it was inside. But if you look at the box and the strike zone, it was like shifted to the left. So when Trey Turner's upset and he gives the stare back, I mean, could it have been inside? Maybe. Maybe we're going crazy. Maybe we're getting a little obnoxious. Maybe we're going too far. But it did look like it wasn't the box wasn't smooth and where it needed to be. I don't know. Brodes, do the Sixers secure the 1 seed tonight? It would be very Sixers to probably not and then have to wait for an Orlando Magic win or a win against the Orlando Magic, I should say, to secure the bag. All the kids say these days. So, yeah, I think that, look, I think they probably lose tonight. No Joel Embiid. Fans get a little upset. Fans, get nervous. And then here comes an Orlando Magic 2-game set, and they take control in one of those games, and they win. So that's my guess. If I'm going to throw you a guess, I think that's how it plays out, to be honest with you. I feel myself really missing Roman Quinn. You're trolling, Ben. You're trolling. You finally get center field production. You finally get good play from Odubel Herrera. Not just good play. You're getting great play from Odubel Herrera. What he's doing at the plate, amazing. Now, the whole center field debacle between him and Bryce Harper, I'll be honest with you. I'm torn. I think Bryce Harper needs to get that ball. All right, that's a Bryce Harper ball. At the same time, center field has final say. Center field is the position that calls out what needs to be called out. Center field is the position that is the vocal one and needs to make that decision and make it very clear. With that being said, I think that's a Bryce Harper ball. Ben says, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm like, all right, how we get? Look, there's some people out there that don't know how to use their brain. I'm not saying I thought that was you. I'm just making sure that that's not you. Two totally different scenarios, right? I didn't think that was you. I just wanted to clarify that it wasn't you. That's all. How about Herrera? He's been on fire, man. The guy's been hitting. The guy's been getting on base. His batting average is slowly starting to climb. And look, this is Odubel Herrera. This is the Odubel Herrera experience. He's going to go 1 for 12 at some point. He's going to give you this. and he's going to be scorching, and he's going to be hitting doubles, and he's going to be bat flipping, and he's going to be clapping and celebrating after a walk, and he's going to bring that intensity, and he's going to bring that fire. He's going to bring that passion to the game, and it does seem you're getting encouraging words from Bryce Harper. You're seeing encouragement from his teammates, and that was the big question heading into this season. How are the teammates going to react? Are the players in the clubhouse going to give him that respect that he's looking for? And the answer is clearly yes. It's clearly yes. What's up, Frank? First down, Frank. What's up? What's up? What's up? I do see it slide to first base. There is a little, there's the theory of you, not theory. I mean, I guess it's a reality that you slow down, but he's giving you that hustle. There's no doubt he's giving you that hustle. By the way, if you are wondering, Open Ice Hits was recorded this morning, and the NHL podcast, Open Ice Hits, will be out after Coffee with Brodes. So I'm going to have to export it and all, but we did record an Open Ice Hits to preview the NHL playoffs this morning, and it will be uploaded after Coffee with Brodes if you are looking for that. Guys like Devontae Smith are very talented and still get criticized because their size ends up having great careers, like Steph, for example. Yeah, I mean, I do think the NFL and the NBA are totally two different type of beasts for sure because of the nature of the physicality involved. So I do think it's a little bit different being a point guard in the NBA and then being a receiver in a sport where there's 6'6", 200 and whatever pound men trying to take your head off. But when you are that type of player, you're a younger player and you're just a good, talented player, you have that tendency, or you have that second layer of thinking of knowing that you're a small guy, and you've put yourself in positions in the past to kind of maneuver out of those spots where your body just naturally takes over. You've always been a small guy. You've always been on the thinner side. You've always, figured out mentally how to approach the game where you can bounce around those hits and whatnot. You're going to take shots. There's no denying it. It's about limiting those shots, though. And we do have the Eagles schedule to go over. I'm not like a huge, oh my God, win-loss. You do the win-loss because it's a part of sports, and it's like something you do. It's like doing mock drafts. It's something you do, even though you're always wrong. But yeah, we'll take a look through that for sure. Does not catch today, day game. I was thinking the same thing, and I think the answer is yes. One, because he's actually playing well. Two, you don't really have another option. And three, the dude plays limited anyway. It's not like the guy plays JT Real Muto innings. The guy already plays limited innings. So I think I'd throw him back into the fire. If anybody wants that chance, it will be Andrew Knapp. So if Andrew Knapp wants that chance, I'm giving it to him. But who knows? Today, analytics and player safety, maybe they go in another direction. They did mention having to make roster moves to Didi Gregorius. And with Didi Gregorius getting injured with this right elbow stiffness, which concerns the living hell out of me, I don't know. I don't know what their move's going to be. They're probably going to have to make roster moves in general, but we'll see. I don't think JT is going to be out that long. He's definitely not going to go on the IL. Maybe you just throw Nat back out there. Adrian says week 14 bye. Yeah, that's not the best in the world. That's definitely a later bye, so it's not super entertaining to have that for sure. K-Mac thinks the Eagles can go 7-10. I think the back end of the season opens up for you. I think the start of the season is a little bit scary. I'm going to move this second monitor over real quick. I don't want to. Okay, it's a little bit easier to see. Sometimes it's too far left and I'm looking like this or I'm looking like that or whatever. But here it is. All right, so I do think that 13-3. Come on, JC. As much as I love the Eagles, there's no way in hell they're going 13-3. By the way, they start out on the road against the Falcons at 1 o'clock. You can see the disrespect with the lack of games that are on national television, the Sunday night football. That's not a thing anymore. Well, that's because they don't have much faith in the Philadelphia Eagles. You start out on the road against the Falcons. You're at home against San Francisco. First time playing in front of your home crowd in quite some time. Maybe that benefits them. Maybe that hurts them. Because if it stinks and it looks ugly and you're 0-1 and the Nick Sirianni experience is on to a bad start and Jalen Hurts is playing bad, you can hear the heavy boo birds flying down in South Philadelphia. Then you go on the road to Dallas, home against Kansas City. I wouldn't be surprised if the first 4 games you're 1-3, whether that's beating the Falcons or finding a way to beat San Francisco. They have a young quarterback. You can say what you want to say about Jimmy Garoppolo, this and that. They have a young quarterback, and their young quarterback's going to – you don't take the quarterback that high and him not play football. There's just no way. So you're going to get yourself probably a young quarterback, and even if it's not, even if somehow, some way it's not, you're at home first time. If you do lose in Atlanta, I think in the first 4, you find yourself getting 1-3. 1-3, you play Carolina away. You play Tampa Bay. Although, look, if you're going to play Tampa Bay at any point of the season, you definitely want to see them early on because the Tom Brady effect is what? You win late. You win when it matters. Well, Christian, Jimmy G, you can say he's playing all he wants. You can say whatever they want to tell you, by all means. They can tell you whatever they want to tell you. Here's what I know. You don't pick a quarterback that high, my man ain't playing. I don't see Jimmy G being involved that long. He's our guy. You know what? Howie Roseman told me that Carson Wentz is like fingers to your fucking hand. Where's his ass? His ass is in Indianapolis, all right? So you can tell me Carson Wentz is fingers to a hand all you want. They're going to try and find a way to get him on the field. So I am buying Jimmy Garoppolo. If you want to see Tampa Bay at any point in the season, you want to see them early on. Because that would be an October game. By end of November, early December is when they take their stride. And that team with Tom Brady starts making their push. Raiders, Lions, Chargers, Broncos. That's a nice stretch in 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, 3 of those are away games. So it's not easy. And going to Denver, never easy. But I do think that there's a spot that eases up in the schedule with, Vegas. I almost said Oakland. Vegas. Detroit, the Chargers, the Broncos. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Those weeks, there is something there that can allow you maybe to make a bit of a push for wins. Not for anything other than make a push for some wins. Then you play the Saints. Here's what I love. All right, you're not going on any serious, insane roadie from weeks 12 to 17. Week 18, you play Dallas, and you have a lot of division play late. But week 11, you're at home. Week 12, you're only going to New York. Week 13, you're only going to New York. You have a bye week, week 14. Week 15, you're only going to Washington. Week 16, you play home, you're home against Washington. But my point is, you're not traveling far. Let's resurface that because I screwed up with the color code of this. The Saints are at home week 11. You're going to New York week 12. You're going to New York week 13. But that's an easy trip. You have a bye week, then you're home against Washington. You're home against the Giants, and then you're going to Washington. You're not traveling very far is my point. You're not traveling very far. And then you finish the season off at home against the Dallas Cowboys. Not on the road, at home. So from weeks 11 to 18, where's the heavy travel? There's no such thing. That could be monstrous. That can be seriously monstrous. Now, it's going to be competitive because of the fact that you're playing your division rivals. That was way more confusing than it needed to be, by the way that I finished describing that, which if you listen to the post-game pod yesterday with the Phils towards the back stretch, maybe that 27-minute mark or so, I did something very similar, so I apologize. I need to do a better job at, getting the flow out. But, yeah, straight division opponents for sure. It's going to be a battle. Philly for Life says Jalen Hurts might have to play like McNabb. Well, that ain't going to happen. No, you think that if your expectations is Donovan McNabb for Jalen Hurts, I think your expectations are a little bit too far. I think it's a little bit too high. I think it's a little bit too aggressive. This dude's playing his 5th NFL game when he starts for the first time in September. I mean, I'm not going McNabb on you. I don't know what we have in the kid. I think he's a competitor. I think he fights. I think he battles. But I can't go too far out there and go on some crazy statements and start throwing McNabb's name out there. Yeah, I think that that's flawed, though, Jim. I hear this and I see this all over the place. Well, if you look at what happened last year, this is the win percentage of all the teams. Guess what? Since when in the NFL has what happened last year result into what happens this year? How many times do we see a team go from last place to first place in the division? So it's really irrelevant what happened last year. I never understood that. Well, last year, and I'm not coming at you, Jim, specifically. I know that this is just a common thing thrown around all these reporters. Well, last year, these teams stunk, and the win percentage for these teams were this. Yeah, guess what? They're not the same this year. It's a totally different team. It's a totally different environment. There's fans in the stands. Let's just throw that dynamic to the mix. There's fans in the stands. That automatically changes everything. You could be at home last year and it not feel like you're at home because nobody was there screaming their faces off. How does that change the win percentage from last year's teams automatically to this year's teams? So just that little wrinkle that's thrown into the mix automatically changes everything. You're right, Carmen. Teams change from year to year. No doubt about it, for sure. You know, the Eagles went from a playoff team to a 4-win team, right? So how about that? You would have never thought that you would have looked at the Eagles as a last year before you saw how it played out. You'd be like, oh man, we play the Eagles. And then it's like halfway through the season. Hell yeah, baby. We play the Eagles. We play the Eagles. So it's big different. No, Ben. I did not. Okay, I'll have to play around with some things for the because the app I use, it doesn't show me Twitch subs like that if I was on something like Streamlabs. So, no, I did not see that. I appreciate that very much. And I'll dive deep into the technical side of things so I can see that again in the future. I did not see the sub extension on Twitch. It doesn't pop up on this platform for some reason, but I'll definitely look into that. So, I appreciate that for sure. Yes, I'm still playing the show. Yes, I am. And I'm going to try and come together with a full on schedule, a stream schedule, so it could be more structured and you know when I'm going to be live. So I'm working on some things behind the scenes, and we should have some big news dropping very soon that you will all be excited for, I would imagine, and I'm excited for it as well. So just keep your eyes out for some news that will be coming via Twitter. 105 Brodes. I know. I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited. Can't wait. Furcon Corkmosh chimes in with a $2 donation. I got Eagles going 8-9. Phillies, sweep, go Sixers. 8-9 is a little strong. I can't see this team winning 8 games. I just can't see it. I see them more in that 5-6 range, maybe closer to 6 now that I see some of their opponents, but I'm not going anywhere into that 8 range. I do think that that's too strong. I do think that's the stand. There's a cycle, right? And let's start with the season. Last year, to start the season, this team could be great. Well, they start to fail, and this team sucks. They're the worst ever. They're abysmal. We need changes. This franchise is the worst franchise in the history of sports. They're never going to win anything. They're going to be a 2-win team. And you can see the timeline of our frustration somewhat move forward. And then as the season ends, you go from this team's 2 wins, this team's 4 wins, this team's 6 wins, this team's 8 wins. This team's going to be a good team. Oh, wow, this team stinks. They're horrible. They're not going anywhere. Nick Sirianni's awful. They need to make changes. Howie Roseman stinks. They're going to be a 3-win team forever. Now the offseason comes. Ooh, I like the draft. Ooh, 4 wins. Ooh, maybe they could be a 6-win team. Maybe they could be an 8-win team. And it's a one big cycle of how your emotions change as the season ends and as you move on to the offseason. It's crazy how it all goes. But I cannot see 8 wins on this 17-game schedule. I just personally don't see it. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a grind involved. I don't think it's going to be like a full-on disaster. I think it's going to be watchable football, but it's going to be losing football when it comes to win-loss. It might not be losing football in terms of how does this set us up for the future. Maybe they pleasantly surprise us. Maybe we're intrigued by Jonathan Gannon very heavily. Maybe we see a lot out of Nick Sirianni that we like. Maybe Jalen Hurts steals the job and we're not questioning the quarterback position for the following offseason. So there's a lot in play here on possibly what we think can possibly get us optimistic for future. But yeah, I can't imagine I can't imagine 8 wins. Furkan comes back in and goes, you never know with fans and Jalen Hurts. Well, that's the thing. I don't know what Jalen Hurts is. And that's why I don't know what we have. If I knew what our quarterback, you have a question mark at the biggest position, the top positions. Head coach, really, head coach, defensive coordinator, the entire coaching staff, and the quarterback. So I don't know what we're going to get. When you have the biggest question marks there, it's hard for me to just say, oh, well, yeah, it's a no-brainer that they're going to be able to win 8 games. 8 games is like a 500 team. I don't know what we have at quarterback, and I don't know what we have at head coach. It doesn't mean they're not going to be good, but if they are good, I still think that you have holes opposite of Darius Slay. You still have holes in other areas. Now, they got Eric Wilson at linebacker, and I think a lot are just forgetting that. Eric Wilson can play. Eric Wilson can ball. He's a stopgap guy, but he's someone who can bring you energy. Anthony Harris is a good signing. I think even if Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts are okay, I don't think they're going to be stellar, amazing, elite. So if they're okay, I don't think they're properly built for that to overpower and overstep all of the flaws. It's not Aaron Rodgers and LaFleur. All right, it's not an elite quarterback and an amazing head coach overstepping the flaws. Being able to actually run the ball will be crucial for Jalen's success. Yes and no. Yes, in spurts. No, he's got to be able to throw the ball. Lamar Jackson doesn't work. He doesn't work. I love Lamar. I'm rooting for Lamar. It doesn't work until he throws a football. You can run all you want. You can have elite speed all you want. Jalen Hurts does not have Lamar Jackson speed. He's not as dynamic and dynamite as Lamar Jackson is. I love Lamar Jackson. I'm not taking a shot at him because I don't like him or I'm not rooting for him because I seriously am. I thoroughly enjoy Lamar Jackson, and I'm pulling for him to shut up everyone who doubted him. I don't doubt him. He needs to be able to throw the football. You cannot win in the NFL without throwing the football. So yes, running the ball is definitely monstrous. Not just from being able to do read options and having Jalen take off for 20 yards because they think it's being handed off to Miles Sanders, and there's a gap that opens because the linebackers and maybe a defensive end bites on Miles Sanders, and here goes Jalen Hurts flying down the right side. That's amazing. Also, with the passing game, because if you run, now you have to stack the box. And now if you have to stack the box and respect the run, now you can maybe get Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Reagor, another weapon open easier compared to if you're passing the ball every single damn down. You don't have to stack the box and respect it. You can throw another DB out there, cover one of your playmakers at an easier level, and now it's harder. So there is something to that. Until Jalen Hurts he's got to get better throwing. That's for sure. Adrian says, when Lamar's run game is shut down, he gets slowed down big time. Yeah, but Lamar's run game doesn't get shut down very often. Let's be serious here. That's reality. His run game doesn't get shut down very often. And I agree with that. If this is C. Henny, I almost said Chenny. C. Henny. Yeah, I hate that. If you take a knock on him, it's like Ben Simmons, man. It's like Ben Simmons. Guy can't shoot a basketball. Well, he can do everything else. That's great. He's got a flaw, and his flaw matters. Lamar Jackson, he's an amazing athlete. He's phenomenal. He's smart. He's an intelligent human being. He's got an amazing skill set. It really does. Guess what? If you can't throw the football, you're going to have some serious issues. Serious issues. That's a little strong just right off the bat here. You know? First off, T.O., I know he was only here for a short amount of time, but T.O. is T.O., right? And my man gets you to a Super Bowl. It so much matter. It's such a broad question that needs so much heavily intense dissection and discussion that I don't even think that that's reasonable to dive into right now. Like longevity. Do you value T.O.'s short stint? Are you talking more just about yards? You're talking about longevity-wise. If he's someone who's here for 10 years, but you never win a Super Bowl, how does that compare to what Deshaun Jackson did? There's not that Deshaun Jackson won a Super Bowl. He didn't, but the early prime of Deshaun. What if you have longevity, but you don't have the level of production and yards that you think you have, but he was here for a long time? T.O. is T.O. I mean, how can you discredit what T.O. is? You can make the argument that T.O. and maybe that's a knock on their position, and not like maybe that's a knock on how poorly they drafted, how poorly they developed, because someone who's been here for such a short stint can possibly take the crown. But Carmichael, I mean, how about the disrespect by me? How about the disrespect by me? How about the disrespect by me? I don't know. It would take a lot. It would take a lot. Yeah, I know. I know. I just saw that comment too. To be fair, and I will be honest with you, I thought of that myself before I saw the comment. I swear. I won't lie. Won't lie to the people. Yeah, I know. No, he wasn't saying that he was. I think he was asking the question, to be fair. But yeah, it's a little too. Yeah, I agree. Carmichael is the best Eagles wide receiver for sure. Shame on me. Shame on me. But I picked that up myself, I swear. T.O. is still better than most Eagles wide receivers. Now that is hard to argue. Freddie Mitchell. No, I don't think it's going to be Freddie Mitchell. Pinkston? Nah, please. Let's not go through the horrendous line of wide receivers that were played in this. Please, no. Joshua says here, I feel like people aren't talking enough about Fulgham. With Alshon and Deshaun gone, it will give him more playing time. I'm interested to see last year was a fluke or if he's actually legit. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a role for him, a possibility for him to take that noise back. He had a great 4 games. What happened in those 4 games? You know, you kept hearing about the body language, the poor practice habits. I do believe that that's possible. You know, he was cut around for a reason, and there's plenty of guys in the NFL specifically that go through practice squads, and then their story's amazing, and they find their way, and, you know, it's awesome from that element for sure. So I'm not saying just because there was problems in the past in Green Bay, and where else was he? With the Lions. I think he was actually drafted by the Lions and whatnot, and then he ended up getting released and cut and all that. There's probably correlation between that. There's also the Howie Roseman, Doug Peterson effect, where Howie Roseman's like, hey, Alshon Jeffrey's paid this much money. I paid him that contract. He's a veteran player. Let's weave out Travis Fulgham. So how much of that body language, I'm not saying it's the right way to handle things. I'm not saying Fulgham handled it the right way. But if there was a side of Travis Fulgham that did not respond to that very well, and he started hanging his head and maybe acting unprofessional, maybe it's because, though, the Eagles forced him to play Alshon Jeffrey and not the right way to, like, why are you just giving Alshon Jeffrey the snaps again? Why is Alshon Jeffrey getting all these snaps? Well, they said it's because Fulgham's body language. Well, maybe his body language was so poor, and I'm not saying that's right, but maybe it was because you just forced Alshon Jeffrey back from injury and snagged all the minutes away from him, where Fulgham's like, fuck you. Fuck you. Why are you putting Alshon back out there? You know what I mean? Because, hey, I paid him the money. We'll see. We'll see. Predictions for Zach Eflin today. I see my man going 7. This Washington Nationals team has struggled at times. So whether they get men on scoring position, they can't get that timely hit. I think he can mow down this lineup. And keep in mind, it's 1 o'clock on an afternoon game. Maybe you don't see their purest form of a lineup, which can absolutely help Zach Eflin go a bit deeper, right? I mean, that's definitely something that's on the table as well. And I do want to remind you, as you can see in the top right corner, we do have a new sponsor for Coffee with Brodes, and that is DealDash. It is the longest running penny auction website and app around. Go to DealDash.com or download their app. I saw a car sold for $900. I saw a brand new television sold for $2. And you can use the promo code COFFEE for phenomenal odds. I'm scrolling through the app all day long. That's DealDash to find phenomenal offers out there. You should do the same right now and use promo code COFFEE. It really is insane. Don't be a loser. Stop paying full retail price for things you want and get on DealDash right now. It's a no-brainer, fellas. It's a no-brainer. Evan says that Odubel homer, though. I know. It was pretty damn insane. And there was for a second, and maybe shame on me, but for a second, I thought that he pimped it and maybe it wasn't going to go as deep as he thought it was. I'll trust him. I'll trust him to feel that he felt it get barreled up for sure. I also just saw Jock Peterson the other day, though, for the Cubs, pimp a sac fly. He pimped a homer, threw the bat, celebrated, and it was to the warning track. And it was a sac fly instead of a home run. And it's Odubel. He's made that mistake in the past. There was a bit of me that saw the pimp of the homer, and I was like, oh, Odubel, please make sure that thing's actually going out. But he did. Oh, he did. He crushed it. It was amazing, especially after him making the mistake earlier in the game. It's pretty wild. Oh, it was real good. It was real good. Everything about it. And I love the reaction afterwards. I do. I think the Bryce Harper comments are strong. I think the Bryce Harper comments are telling. We did not know how Odubel would be looked at in this clubhouse. And I think he's starting to get more comfortable with his teammates. I think his teammates are just, allowing Odubel to be Odubel and not putting too much stress on him with everything that went down. Just saying, Odubel, look, you're our teammate. We definitely don't. We look at what you did as a disgrace to human society. You're here now. It happened. You're a new man. You learned. You went to counseling. You paid your dues. You set out your suspension. Let's go. Let's play some baseball. Nick asked what Bryce said. I'm pretty much, and I'll look up quotes just to give you like full-on quotes, but to paraphrase a little bit about what happened, he basically said, and I think, was it Michael Barkan or was it Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports Philadelphia? Let's see here. Bryce Harper on Odubel Herrera. This is just one quote. He's been good, playing the game hard, playing it right. He's one of us. He's a Philly. So Bryce Harper, that's one of the quotes. He's been good, playing the game hard, playing it right. He's one of us. He's a Philly. He got a big, that's a big statement. All right, let's be realistic. When someone like Bryce Harper is coming out, and earlier it wasn't that statement. When we were talking about spring training stuff, it was not that level of statement for him. So, just something to look at for sure. How about Andrew Knapp Zach Wheeler saying that Andrew Knapp could be a starter anywhere. Amazing. Amazing. More on Odubel, though, from Bryce Harper. Odubel just goes up there not thinking about anything, just trying to put the bat on the ball. Really impressive what he did tonight. Last couple of games, too. How about Bryce Harper just putting the bat on the ball in the 10th inning, full count, working it, goes the other way, pokes one. Probably would have been a ball, but he just put the bat on the ball, and he finished with 3 hits last night. My man, Bryce Harper, 3 for 5, hitting .308. I love my one buddy Dean, but I'll tell you what, he is emotional as hell. Last night, because there was a play where Brad Miller was on third base, right? And Bryce Harper was up. Bryce Harper ended up grounding out to the right side. And there was a tweet that he thrown out there. And I'm like, come on, dude, you can't be serious with this tweet. And I was busting his balls. But he was serious about it. And I'm like, dude, come on. And I'm going to bring up the tweet just to put it in perspective. It was after the Bryce Harper ground out, right? And he tweets this. Is Harper ever going to get a hit when it matters this year? Really? Is Harper ever going to get a hit when it matters this year? That's where we're at. We got to be better than that. And he starts laughing. I'm like, dude, you're just getting emotional. How about that 10th inning hit? He had 3 hits yesterday. My man's hitting .308. You want to talk about all those solo shot home runs? That's because earlier this season, your leadoff man was hitting .158. That's because your secondary man, Reese Hoskins, sure, he had a hot streak, but he also had an extremely cold streak. So when Bryce Harper's hitting solo home runs, that's not a product of Bryce Harper not doing his job. That's a product of the guys in front of him not doing his job. So I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy to get that all upset because of, Bryce Harper making a mistake in the field and that carrying over to, the Brad Miller thing with Brad Miller on third base and him not being able to knock him in, but let's cool down a little bit. Let's calm down. Otzi! Could it be Deem getting overly mad? Yes, it could be. I'm like, come on, Deem. Come on. He's funny, though, man. I'm like, how are we ripping Bryce Harper today? After all this, it's like, yeah, you know what? I think it's justifiable to rip Bryce Harper for what happened in that inning in the sixth where he ended up running into Odubel. I hated that. But ultimately to say, is Bryce Harper ever going to get a big hit this year? I mean, to act as if he hasn't had any big hits, my man's hitting 308. To act as if he hasn't had any sort of impact at the plate for this team to be where they are now at 20-17. Damn it. I'll have to let him know. I'm texting him. I'm ripping you on Coffee with Brodes. I gotta at least let him know about your Bryce Harper tweet last night. Have to, you know what I mean? If I'm gonna get at him, I gotta let him know. 1 o'clock tomorrow. See you there. You like that? That was the ending of my little 1-minute Twitter video that I put up yesterday. 1 o'clock. See you there. Before you know it, it's going to be 1 o'clock. It's 9:40 at the moment. Morning, Daryl. What's up, man? Morning. He's getting long. Hair's getting long. Oh, thank you. I know. I love it right now. We're going full flow mode. You know, the NHL playoffs are into gear. I love my flow anyway. See, the problem is I ended up cutting my hair because my hockey career was over. I'm like, okay, I was always a guy with the flow, as you could imagine. I'm like, yeah, the hockey career's over. All right, we'll kind of hang up the hair with it. And then it's like, that's not me. All right, Brodes has the flow. Flowsy O'Donnell. It's a reason why Flowsy O'Donnell was the nickname forever. You got to have the flow. I mean, it's just part of the Brodes experience. Brodes without the hair, somebody else. Brodes with the hair, it's Brodes. You know, it's like it comes with the personality. I can't imagine not having flow. But I'm in the predicament right now with the fiance because we got the engagement pictures coming up. We got the wedding next summer. And it's like, are you really going to do this to me? And I'm like, well, guess what? Short hair's not me. Short hair's not me. I don't want to look back at the wedding pictures and be like, oh, yeah, there's the doofus with the short hair. That's not me. So we have to work some things out. I told her I won't get tattoos on the hand until after the wedding. You let me get my hair long for the wedding. You know what I'm saying? Got relationship here. All right, this relationship talk with Brodes. You're going to have to give some and take some. It's a little give and take. What do they say? Compromise. Good possibility we even get the Celtics in round one. Yeah, we would destroy them. I could see a sweep. I could see a sweep. And by the way, to go back to Daryl, because he said thoughts on signing Gary Clark. I'll be honest with you, I don't really have much of an opinion on Gary Clark right now with this two-way contract situation. It's like, I'm ready for the playoffs. And Gary Clark, to me, has no real, has no real impact right now on my 76ers thoughts. I'm ready for Joel Embiid. I'm ready for Ben Simmons. I'm ready for Tobias Harris. I'm ready for this bench unit. Yes, that's right. I'm ready to see how the bench unit is utilized, I should say. I'm ready for that. Am I going to stream today? I'm streaming right now. Am I going to stream what? Probably not, considering the Phillies play at 1 o'clock. I'm going to be working during that 1 o'clock game. Probably no stream today if you're talking about MLB The Show. I'm going to come up with a set schedule, though, where you guys know, like, hey, Tuesday at this time, Brodes is going to be on MLB The Show. Or I don't know why I'm heavily third person right now. I apologize. I don't know where that came from. Once in a while, I sprinkle that in, but I don't know why I'm so heavily involved in it right now at 9:43 on May 13th. But yeah, I'm going to try and schedule the stream so you kind of have an idea of what's happening for that week and whatnot. Can y'all please beat the Heat today? I'll try my best to let them know. Maybe I'll tweet at the Sixers and they can tell everybody. Maybe I'll tweet at the players and maybe they'll respond to me before the game. Hey, we got a tweet from Brodes81. We'll will respond and say, yeah, we'll get the job done today. I feel, my gut feeling tells me that they lose. They lose to Miami, and then they win one of the games against Orlando, and they top it all off there. That's kind of my gut feel, where no Joel, you're on the road, you're in Miami, you want to close it out, you don't close it out, and now it's like, oh, here we go. I mean, it would just be Philadelphia Sixers. Here's the thing, though. This year hasn't been typical Sixers. This team has not been that, well, it always happens this way. So, just to play a little devil's advocate, I think we're so used to emotionally being used to a scenario that I just laid out where, of course, they're going to lose. Of course, they're going to make it harder on themselves. Of course, it's going to take a game against Orlando to solidify that one seed. But this year has been different. I guess when you don't have the big man, though, that's where things change, because you normally have the big man when it is a different team. You have small worry. Well, if they don't get it, they're going to beat the Magic. All right. They're going to get the one seed. That's inevitable. For the Sixers to get the one seed would be a huge eruption of disappointment. I mean, quite honestly, it's almost impossible, in my opinion. It's almost impossible to not solidify this one seed. It's just a matter of when, not so much a matter of if. So, in all honesty, I just can't see a scenario where they don't do it. There's no real worry. I just don't know if it's going to be tonight or not. Why? Pure Vortex. Why would you be afraid? Why would you be afraid? I'm not afraid to see them. I'm not. That's and that goes back to, this team is different. Why would I be afraid to play them? They're not who they were last year. They're not. Last year was a product of the environment. Now you're going to get fans back at the Wells Fargo Center. You're going to have to go through Philadelphia. I'm not telling you it would be a walk in the park. I'm not telling you it would be the easiest in the world. It would probably be very heated, no pun intended. Probably be very passion-filled, and you're going to have Jimmy Butler and whatnot. I mean, it'll be very entertaining for sure. Let's not go too ridiculous, though. Let's not go too far out there. This 76ers team is amazing. This 76ers team is awesome. This 76ers team is the first seed for a reason, and they're an unbelievable squad, and they're ready to play. This Heat team, like, they're not very good. They're not extremely talented. They're not on the level of the Sixers. So as long as the Sixers play to their capability, which they can do and they have done pretty much all season long when healthy with their starting five, they can win that series. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. They can win that series. I'd rather see the Knicks. I'd rather see the New York team. At the same time, though, I think being nervous is doing a discredit or discrediting the Sixers or doing them a disservice. They've earned our respect, you know? They've earned our respect this year, where maybe we should feel a little bit differently about them and give them a little bit more, like, yo, you're going to kick the Heat's ass. You're going to kick Miami's ass. I always go back to this. Miami Heat right now are 38 and 31. They have played better compared to the start of the season. If the Sixers were 38 and 31, you would not feel good about a playoff series at all, playing the number one overall seed. So now flip it around, and you're just nervous because you don't want to commit, is what it is. It's the fear of committing and getting your heart broken, which I've been a part of that before. There's no denying that. There's been a time in my life where I've been afraid to commit to a basketball team, commit to a hockey team, commit to a team. It's not easy. It's not easy to go all in. But to the Eastern Conference Finals, at least to that point, I'm all in. I'm all in with this Sixers team, at least to that point. I'd have to see who they're playing, and I know that the Nets and the Bucks can beat the Sixers in a 7-game series. The same percentage, I think the Sixers can beat them as well. So just excited to see it happen. The Celtics are an embarrassment. Yeah, no doubt about it. They're 35 and 35. Now they don't have Jalen Brown. They underachieved big time. But that goes back to last year with the Sixers. Teams underachieve, man. Teams underachieve. And I'm informed, right? Here's my thing on the NBA coaching. I'm informed that Nick Nurse is the greatest coach ever just about 2 years ago. I'm informed that Brad Stevens is the most elite coach ever. Well, I tried explaining to you, unless you have the players, it don't matter. The NBA coach, it limits you. Brad Stevens is an amazing coach. You're 500. You're 500. Why? Because Brad Stevens is now a bad coach, or because your players underachieved, guys didn't take the next step in their career, you're waiting for players to grow, your roster is completely flawed, you don't have a big man. With Nick Nurse not making the playoffs. Well, I thought Nick Nurse was an amazing coach. Why didn't he get this team to the playoffs? The coach, I mean, it just goes back to the Brett Brown era, where uh, just too much emphasis on the coach because you didn't like a guy. Brad Stevens and Nick Nurse, they're good coaches in this league, but they're where they're at now because you don't do anything unless your players are ready to win and your players are taking that next step. Well, Nick Nurse is a good coach. I think that is too much of a hot take. He's a good coach. Coaches just don't have as much impact as you think. That's what it is. It's not that he's not a good coach. I think the impact of the coach is limited. Is limited. It's there. There's they do have a role. They do have a role. I'm not saying they don't have a role. I think their role is like 15%, which think about not having 15% of your team. That would matter. 15% of a playoff run is coach. 85% is superstar. Is team. Is the actual product on the court because of the players playing the game. So there's a role for them. But if you're 15%, you're 15%. I think that there's too much involved in how much a coach actually has impact-wise. No, I still think he's an upper echelon coach in the league. I do. You look at coaches like Doc Rivers, Nick Nurse, Brad Stevens. You look at a coach like Eric Spoelstra, Popovich. And of course, there's separation here in gap, but these are all the better coaches in the league. That can only get you so far, though, unless you have a superstar. And I think that's pretty damn clear, pretty damn obvious to me, at least. I'm trying to get my microphone in a better position for me. Too high, too low. Do I think the Braves will pick it up? Absolutely. They already kind of have, although they did lose yesterday to the Toronto Blue Jays after being up 1-0. They're what, 500 now, or they're one game under? 2 games under. They're 17-19. The Phillies are 20-17, and the Mets are 18-13. I do anticipate the Mets cooling off. They're on a nice ride right now. They're 8-2 in their last 10. The Phillies are 7-3 in their last 10. The Braves are 500 in their last 10. I do think that the Braves are going to be better. Yeah, they're going to be better. I mean, it's early and it's not early. You're 1 month in. There's enough of a sample size, but at the same time, it's the Braves. There's too much talent on that team. You don't know what you're getting with the starting pitching. There was a lot of injuries involved, which has significantly hurt them. Which, if you don't have starting pitching in this league, you're going to struggle. One of the reasons why the Phillies have been good, Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Zach Eflin. So you're seeing an example of the Phillies being able to execute and win a lot of baseball games with those 3 on the mound, while the Braves are having a hard time. Their lineup is their lineup, but if you can't get what you need to on the mound, it's going to cost you for sure. I just don't know if the Mets are this good. They're riding one of their hot streaks. Every team's going to go through it. We're experiencing a Mets hot streak. I don't know how long it's going to last, but they are playing some fantastic baseball. My hometown in Atlanta now, Braves are wishy-washy. Look, if you see this happen and we're talking about June, July baseball and they're still in this area, I think maybe that's who they are. I think at some point that's who they are going to be. If we're still talking about this in June, July, at some point they'll snap out of it. At that point, that conversation might end. It can only last for so long until that's who they are. That's their identity. I'm giving them a lot of respect for the caliber of players that they have and for the track record of their lineup. And you do need to keep in mind the IL and just going through those struggles, keeping players healthy so early on. And if you start out slow, it takes time to kind of rebuild. Acuna, he went through a situation with the hand, although he hasn't been an issue. He's been rocking the ball and crushing the ball and hitting homers left and right. So that's not really the problem with him. But, I think this Braves team is better than what they're showing. I'm just saying if we're 3 months into the season and we're still having that conversation, at some point that's who they are. Sort of like the Flyers. Their defense can't be this bad, right? Their defense can't be that atrocious. There's no way that they're going to allow guys wide open in the high slot for 56 games. Well, nope. After game 15, they do that. That is who they are. That's their description. That's their motto this year, allowing guys to be wide open and turning the pucks over in the D zone. So why would I expect anything different? When is that going to hit me with the Braves? Probably we're talking June, July. They're just like the Dodgers. They're struggling. But come October, they're going to win. I don't know about I can't go that far with the Braves because at least the Dodgers have the track record of World Series, World Series, World Series. Braves don't have that. They've won the division. I don't see them as the same level as the Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers are 4-6. They're 20-17. They're fighting with the Giants and the Padres still. They're third technically in the NL West. But the Dodgers have had way much more of a track record. They have way more supportive numbers to back up them winning 95 to 100 games compared to anything related to the Braves. The Braves have won division titles, but they haven't made that next step in a franchise over the last few years for me to feel that confident about it. I do have this email that I need to respond to, but we got 5 minutes left. I'll finish off Coffee with Brodes first. Who do I think will end up winning? Well, it's way too early. It's way too early. It's going to be a 3-man race for pretty much the entire year, I think. It's going to be, and I'm sure the Nationals will bounce above the Marlins, who are 16-20. I don't see the Nationals being a 13-19 type team. They need to get better pitching, though. Patrick Corbin, we'll see on the mound today. They do need to get better play out of some of their guys. They're still trying to find their identity with the additions of Schwarber and whatnot, and Juan Soto now being the face of their franchise and losing Rendon. I think they missed a lot of pieces, and they did that last year and all. I know that's not something that's specifically new to this season, but you're somewhat retooling and refixing your lineup and restructuring some things. It takes time to adjust. I think they're learning that. I don't think that they're 13-19 bad. Maybe they creep back in, but it's going to be Mets, Braves, Phillies all involved until August, I would imagine. Honestly, I would imagine. The win-loss prediction thing, maybe I'll get to it, maybe, for a podcast or whatnot. I'm not jumping out of my seat ready to rock through the win-loss. It's different this year. If it was a team that I felt strongly about, it's a team that I think's not going to win many football games. So, loss. And look, I'm going to do it, even though I just mocked it. I'll probably end up doing it at some point. We briefly ran through it earlier today in Coffee with Brodes. I'm not ready to seriously jump out of my chair to run to do that this season, and it's because the anticipation for the season isn't there. There's no juice for this team to be good, so it hurts my love to run through the schedule. I also need to strategically plan this around some of the content that I already have built in. For example, Phillies play today, Sixers play tonight, Phillies play tomorrow, Sixers play tomorrow. There's a lot I got to maneuver around in terms of scheduling content, but I'll look into it because I know I want to try and get something out to talk about the Eagles, but I got to strategically map around my schedule to see how it'll dial in the best for sure. I wouldn't say they're a dark horse, my friend. They're a first seed. They're a first seed in their division. I'm with you, though. You don't think of them the same way as you do Tampa Bay or the Penguins it's honestly, I don't even know if Penguins are a fair assessment, but you don't look at them the same way you look at Tampa. You don't look at them the same way you look at Toronto, but they are number one in your conference there, in your division in the Central. So I don't know if they're technically, though, a dark horse if you're number one. What quarterback is starting for the Eagles? Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is starting for the Eagles. I feel like that's a pretty well-known story here on what's happening in Philadelphia now. Preds, Jets, yeah, that's more of a dark horse call for sure. Those type of teams. Who do I think's going to win the cup? Man, it's hockey, dude. It's hockey. You never have a clue. We did do, though, and here's a good segue and a good tease. Durso and I recorded Open Ice Hits this morning, and it'll be uploaded today. I'll have to export it after this show's over and whatnot, but that is on the table for sure. We went through all of the divisions, even though the West is not solidified yet. We went through the divisions and talked about the playoff series and whatnot for round one. So it was a really fun conversation. If you're looking forward to that, yes, that will be available. So, all right, everyone, I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me today on Coffee with Brodes. I need to make sure I get myself another cup of coffee. That is for damn sure. I am fiending for a new cup. I got a busy day today. I'm not going to lie to you. I got a busy day. Make sure you guys run on over to DealDash.com. Check out their offers. I literally saw a TV go for $2. I can't stress that enough. A TV go for $2. There's no reason not to dive into what they have to offer. And you can use promo code COFFEE for some phenomenal odds that are available. So many special offers with that promo code. Don't be a loser. Stop paying full retail price for the things you want and get on DealDash. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. We got Phillies. I can't wait. 1 o'clock game. Get ready for the post-game podcast. Get ready for the tweets throughout the game. And by the way, we're giving away a Bryce Harper jersey again. Another giveaway, another Bryce Harper jersey. Make sure on Twitter at Brodes81, you are entered to win that jersey. It's pinned to the top of my profile. Have a fantastic day, everyone. See you guys later.